Greetings. Welcome to Petaga Technologies official YouTube channel. The VLOOKUP function is very popular in Excel. In this video, we will teach you how to replicate VLOOKUP function in Power BI using 4 different methods and create table visual to visualize the output data in Power BI. We will start with an example in Excel. In Excel, we have two sheets like employee details and team details sheet. In employee details sheet, we have employee details, but we don't have manager name in it. We will create VLOOKUP to get manager name from team details. What is VLOOKUP? VLOOKUP stands for vertical lookup. It is a function that makes search for a certain value in a column to return a value from a different column in the same row. Syntax of VLOOKUP is VLOOKUP open bracket lookup value table array column index number and range lookup. We will explain you the arguments in VLOOKUP one by one. First one is lookup value, the value to look for in the first column of your table. Second one is table array, the table from which to retrieve a value. Third one is column index number, the column in the table from which to retrieve a value. Fourth and last one is range lookup, and it is optional. By default, it will take your approximate match called true, and if you want to get exact match, then you can choose false. Now we will use this VLOOKUP function in Excel to get manager name from team detail sheet. In Excel, we have created new column named as manager name and inserted VLOOKUP function. For VLOOKUP function, in lookup value argument, we selected C column. For table array argument, we selected B and C column from team detail sheet. And for column index number, we input to get the second column data from selection. For range lookup, we selected false to get exact match. Now, by using this Excel source data, we will replicate VLOOKUP in Power BI. We will import Excel source data into Power BI desktop. We have successfully imported Excel source data into Power BI desktop. We have two tables. First table is employee details and it contains employee ID, employee name and team details. Second table is team details and it contains team ID, team name and the manager names. We need to make sure that relationship between these two tables is active or not. In case if it is not active, then we will not get expected output. Team column in is common in both tables. If you notice here, team column is common here. So by default, relationship has been created. We will use calculated column in Power BI to create VLOOKUP using Power BI DAX function. What is calculated column? A calculated column is an extension of a table using a DAX formula that is evaluated for each row. With calculated columns, you can add new data to a table already in your model. But instead of querying and loading values into your new column from a data source, you create a data analysis expressions, which is nothing but DAX formula that defines the column's values. Unlike custom columns that are created as part of a query, by using add custom column in query editor. Calculated columns that are created in report view or data view are based on data you have already loaded into the model. We will create a calculated column in Power BI. To create calculated column in Power BI, select New Column option in Table Tools tab from above toolbar. Once you click on Calculated Column, new column will be created. If you notice, new column has been created. We will rename the calculated column as per our convenient. We have renamed column as manager name. VLOOKUP function is not built in Power BI. So we need to replicate the lookup function using DAX to use VLOOKUP in Power BI. First method to replicate VLOOKUP in Power BI is using lookup function. What is lookup function? Lookup value is a function in DAX that can be used to find a value in a specific cell in a data table. Syntax of lookup value is lookup value open bracket result column search column and search value, and you can provide the alternate result is optional and closing bracket. Let me explain you the arguments one by one. First one is result column, the column that we want to get as the output of this expression. Second one is search column, the column which we are searching into. Third one is search value, the value which we are searching for. Fourth one is alternate result, the value should be used if the value is not found in the data table. In VLOOKUP function, we can use lookup value instead of VLOOKUP in Power BI. For result column argument, we will select manager column from team details table. And for search column argument, we will select team column from team details. And for search value argument, we will select team column from employee details table. And fourth and final optional argument is alternative result. By default, lookup value not found, it will return blank value. Instead of blank, we will input not found, so that if lookup value is not found, then we will get not found for non-available lookup. Now we have completed the lookup value function. So let me close it by using closing bracket. We got all manager names. We got all manager names related to team. For each employee in an organization, we can see new calculated column under the field section in employee details table. Three important points to know before using lookup value in Power BI. If lookup value finds multiple relevant values to assign, then it generates error. Second one is lookup value can use multiple columns as a key. Third point is if there is no match that satisfies all the search values, then a blank will return. Now we will create this lookup value using another alternative method. Second method for replicating VLOOKUP in Power BI is using calculate DAX function. Now we will use calculate function in same calculated column manager name. And the syntax of calculated function is calculate open bracket expression filter 1 and filter 2 and closing bracket. Calculate DAX function evaluates an expression in a context that is modified by the specified filters. We use selected value function in expression argument of calculated function, and syntax of selected value is selected value open bracket, and you can mention the column name and closing bracket. Selected value DAX function returns the value when the context for column name has been filtered down to one distinct value only. Otherwise, returns alternate result. For column name argument in selected value function, we will select manager column from team details table and close the selected value function. For second argument of calculate function, we will use filter function. Syntax of filter function is filter open bracket table and filter condition and closing bracket. Filter function return a table that represents a subset of another table or expression. We use all no blank row function to return all rows, but the blank row might exist. Syntax of all no blank row is all no blank row open bracket, and you can select either table or column, and you can provide other columns as optional and close the bracket. It, it is a parent table of a relationship, returns all rows, but the blank row are all distinct values of a column, but the blank row and disregards any context filters that might exist. Now we have selected team column from team tables, and we will create a filter condition using team column of team details table should be equal to team column of employee details table. We use all function to return all the rows in a table, ignoring any filters that might have been applied. Syntax of all DAX function is all open bracket table either column, and you can provide the other columns as optional and closing bracket. It returns all the rows in a table or all the values in a column, ignoring any filters that might have been applied. This function is useful for clearing filters and creating calculations on all the rows in a table. We got all manager names from team details table. We will explain you the algorithm step by step. Algorithm starts with the variable name, and you can select the search value, and we will start with calculate function open bracket, and inside of calculate function we'll be using selected value to select the value from that result column, and we will use filter for filtering the conditions data by using the condition search column name equal to search value, and we will use all function to retrieve all the rows from the column. Third method for replicating VLOOKUP in Power BI is using related DAX function. We use related function in same calculated column named as manager name, and syntax for related DAX function is related open bracket, and you can choose the column name and close the bracket. It returns a selected value from another table. We select manager column from team details table in column argument of related function. Now we got all manager names from team details table. Fourth method for replicating VLOOKUP in Power BI is using merge queries in Power BI Power Query. Using Power Query to replace VLOOKUP is fast, easy, and a one-time effort. Now we are in Power Query Editor. We will merge the column from Team Details table to Employee Details using Merge Queries option, which is available in About toolbar in Home tab. Once I click on Merge Queries, it will pop up the Merge dialog box. From that, we can select Common Column from both tables. Here, Common Column in both tables is Team column. Select both columns and click OK. Now we have merged team details table to employee details table. We can expand the team details table columns using expand button, which is available in top right corner of that column. Once we click on expand button, we will see all available columns from team details table. We will select only manager column and click on OK. We got all manager names from team details table using merge queries. We will close the Power Query editor by clicking on close and apply option in top left corner of Power Query editor. But the disadvantage of VLOOKUP is that complex mergers slow down the queries and can cause memory issues. We will create a table visual to visualize the lookup value data. We have selected table visual from visualization span and dragged all columns from employee details and placed it in value section. After placing, now table visual looks like this. If you have any questions, you can ask your questions in comment section, and if you like this video, hit the like button. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching. To watch more videos like this, visit our official YouTube channel, Petaga Technologies. To get notification, subscribe to this channel and activate bell icon.